Hello. So my name is Krystal Clark, and I am the chair of the Women's Fund Advisory Board with the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. And I get to be with Kelli today, who's the executive director of Awake. So Kelli, tell us who you are and about your role at Awake.
Yeah, so I'm Kelli Nowers. I'm the executive director at Awake, which means Advocate and Kids Equality. Tennessee, we work in Tennessee specifically. And yeah, I just got onto this role about 2 months ago. I've been volunteering with Awake, for a little bit before then, but so I know all the good work that they've done. But just started and just hitting the ground hard. Really excited for what we're doing. Definitely a unique and interesting time to start a new position, but loving it, loving the work.
Good. So tell us about the mission of Awake and let us know why this organization is needed in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah. So Awake advocates for the advancement of women and kids in Tennessee. We do that in two ways. So we focus on education and policy change. Within education, we have, we just created actually a new curriculum in the past year. It's called I Am an Advocate. And it's evidence-based. We worked with a curriculum specialist out of Vanderbilt to create it. But so it focuses on self-advocacy. So, teaching skills that really what we think of preventative, so preventing unhealthy relationships and unhealthy lifestyles, that kind of thing. But teaching boundary setting, nonviolent conflict management, how to be an advocate for yourself, but also an advocate within the community. So we talk about young change makers and resource mapping. So a lot of great stuff there. We partner with nonprofit organizations in Nashville to teach this to their populations and their communities.
That's awesome.
So that's one side of, that's our education side.
Yeah.
And then the other side is policy change. So we work with the Tennessee State Legislature to either suggest new laws or amend current laws to modernize them and make the state better for women and kids. So every year we bring one or two different bills and we get a sponsor from the legislator, either a senator, well, both a senator and a representative, to sponsor this bill. And we push it through. And so far we've passed 8 bills in our lifetime as an organization. And I can get more into that, but it's just the way that Awake has done that primarily on volunteer time is just incredible. Yeah. Yeah.
We're in this time right now where people want to use their voice. They want to get out there and they want to share and they want to advocate and they want to be an ally. And so what advice would you give a woman who's ready to really start using her voice and using her platform to advocate for change, in her community?
Yes. I think first, I love this question because first I would just be like, yeah, that makes me so happy. I mean, especially for a woman, we live in a society that still tells women to be quieter and smaller and more polite. And, we still live in that society. So I think for a woman to take up space and use their voice and use their platform is a huge deal. And that in itself is like an act of resistance. So I think that alone is awesome. But in terms of how, I think a lot of times we see societal issues in this really macro sense. So we think about environmental change or gender equity and think of all the things that need to happen globally. And that a lot of times, or at least for me, it has really led to inaction. That's led to being overwhelmed and whoa, I'm just one person. We'll see how, other people do that. And there's obviously nothing wrong with going for it, doing the big things, the big change. But what I would say is there is so much that as an individual you can do in your home, in your neighborhood, locally, voting. That's a huge advocacy,
Step
like,
one.
yeah, step one, please do that. Yeah, just being educated on elected officials. We have the say in who we're electing. So just being educated on that, and then doing the piece of actually voting. But yeah, changing your own lifestyle, and then telling other people how you change, educating other people on the things you're learning. I think that's huge. So yeah, kind of starting small and knowing that does make impact. And then there's so many local coalitions and groups to join. And, it's easier to be doing bigger changes if this is, the first time you're using your voice, or you're kind of getting into this advocacy space. It's so much easier to do that when you're in a community of like-minded, passionate, awesome people. So, finding those groups, join Awake. Like, we are a group of really passionate people that, and there's a lot of diversity in that group too. I've gone to law school and know all the legal jargon and can help us understand that. And it's also undergrads that are just like want to see and want to be part of making a difference. It's all across the board. And I think that's a really unique part of Awake, is that we welcome, if you want to do it, you're welcome here. If you want to be part of this advocacy group, you're welcome here. And I really love that about that group. But yeah, use your voice, start small, and don't underestimate the power you have as an individual.
I love it. So tell us how people can find Awake. How can they volunteer? How can they donate? Give us details.
All the things. So awaketn.org is our website. So pretty easy. And all of our information is there. So we have a take action bar. You can go to that and it'll show you how to share Awake with your friends and family on social media. We have a form to fill out, and you can tell us if you're interested in advocacy and helping us teach our programming, and maybe hosting a fundraiser or hosting an event. If you want to do something, we'll take you up. We'll make it work. But yeah, so all the form is on the website, as well as the donation form too. So all of that is there. We're also, like I mentioned earlier, we'll have information out about our fall fundraiser event. It's called Artists for Awake. It'll be slightly different from last year because it won't be in person, but it will still be a good time. So be on the watch out for that. And then just, signing up for our newsletter, you'll always be in the know of what we're thinking about, legislation, upcoming events, all of that good stuff. So I encourage everyone to join that newsletter too.